Welcome to the factory. It is with great pleasure that we invite you to not die. The god has requested another trial for you, and so we present you with this manifestation of a location you should be familiar with. Let the sins flow through you. If you want to keep your soul, we advise you to play along and not fall into the hands of the enemies. Familiar faces will come from your left and right hand side in the office. Use the camera pad in each night to keep track of where everyone is. Camera buttons with a fiery icon represents the rooms enemies start from, so you can know how many are coming for you and where in the factory they begin their hunt. Use door lights sparingly and close the doors when needed. Survive. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the office exit. Enemies will try to attack you from the freezing room, as well as the office. They are coming from both sides. Once an enemy is in the freezing room, he is just one step away from reaching your location. Close the big metal door to stay safe. The enemy won't be able to break it open, and will be forced to turn around and leave after an attempt. Due to the door's metal and density, however, it is not recommended to keeping it closed, as it blocks the signal to the security cameras around the factory. The enemy coming from behind can be gradually pushed back through the camera system by initiating an electroshock in the room he currently resides in. The electroshock requires a cooldown, however, and is activated through the camera systems. The metal door cannot be closed during this operation. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the control room. Enemies will hunt you down from behind, coming from the office. Unfortunately for you, the lights in the office are completely gone, but it has a motion detector. Use your cameras to track enemies and watch carefully as one of them enters the office room. Should you suspect someone resides in there, push the big red button to activate the motion sensor. The entire building's power will go out during scanning. Should the motion detector not detect any presence in the room, it will initiate a normal, slow power reboot, leaving you vulnerable for attack. Should the motion detector actually detect a presence, an emergency reboot will happen. You must send out an electroshock into the office to send the enemy back, and the power will be back immediately on a successful shock. Be careful, however. The different enemies coming for you will each require a different shock. Using the wrong shock has the opposite effect of pushing them back. Track enemies well. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message.
Office. Entity found. Please initiate elect. Office. 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 Entity. Office. Entity. entity. Scanning your fist. Entity. Scanning your fist.
Welcome to the freezing room. This room has the ability to toggle the temperature in the entire factory via the camera system. You can toggle it easily with a click to change between cold, mild, and hot. The different enemies hunting you down are weak to different types of temperature. If the factory has a temperature they despise, they will move away from you instead of towards you. Use this system to keep enemies away from you. This does not apply to the freezing room itself, however. As it is designed to store food, the temperature will constantly try to sink to a very cold temperature. To prevent a frozen and painful experience, you must keep the temperature up as often as you can and not let it reach its lowest point. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the bathroom. Welcome to darkness. Only a slight hint of power is left in the building, and the cameras are thus practically unusable when it comes to looking around. However, as this is in the very center of the factory, you won't just be able to hear them now and then, but you will be able to hear each time enemies move to another room. One enemy moves from entrance 2 to a trip down to the cellar, to the machinery, and into your room. The other enemy will move from the control room, through the office exit, and into your room. Due to the power problems, there are safety measures installed in our recreation of Wario's factory. You can scan any room on your camera pad to see if any entity resists there. The scan will require manual recharging. The bathroom you're in has a flash. You must use this whenever an entity has entered. Use it before it's too late. Flashing them should send them back through the hallways, back to where they came from. Flashing while the bathroom is empty, however, will drain quite a lot of power. Track them using sound and scanning, and flash the bathroom only when needed. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message.
Welcome to the Crossroads. You have chosen to stop in a hallway that does not feature a security camera. A wise choice. However, the entities will not leave you alone. They are still toying with you, taunting you, playing with you in the worst ways. They have infected your camera pad and the camera functionality is gone. You will instead need to play a digital game on your pad, featuring lives. Run out of lives, and you lose. Reach the end of their twisted game, they'll let you live another day. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the storage. This is a room that was used for storing food and other goods. Unfortunately for you, the food here has expired and turned extremely bad. The oxygen levels will slowly drain and you must keep air flowing. You can do this through the camera system, where the air cleaning option will jump between the very security camera options. Keep that air flowing. You don't want it to drain fully. You may experience certain hallucinations due to these circumstances. An entity is also moving towards you from the corridor. Track the entity carefully, as you need to be ready immediately once it appears at the end of the hallway in the storage. You won't have too much reaction time, so you need to know when they are coming and sit prepared. Once anyone shows up, cut the lights with the white button on the wall in order to prevent them from seeing you. This should make them turn back. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the machinery. Today, the power for the entire factory, which includes your camera pad, will deplete constantly, no matter if you use the camera system or not. In your room, the big machine with the white button on it is a power generator. Activate that to start charging the factory's power up again. While charging, you will be unable to use your security cameras. There are two different entities coming for you today. One resides in the freezing room and will move through the storage and entrance before reaching your location. You cannot defend yourself against this one. Should it reach your room, it's over. You will have to push it back towards the freezing room by staring at it on the cameras. The other entity is different. It currently resides in the office, but as long as there is no noise coming from the power generator, it will stay in its place. It will only move as long as the power generator is charging. Should it reach your room, you will be able to defend yourself and send the entity back by shocking the dark section of the machinery. Be careful, however. Shocking the room when the entity isn't there will drain power. Keep the power up. Should it run out, there is no way to charge it back up. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the corridor. For today, you will experience technical problems. We apologize for this inconvenience. You will only have access to a few of the security cameras, but they are all you need. One enemy alone is roaming around today, but he is not approaching your location in the same way as usual. He is roaming around freely. He wants to play a game of hide and seek. He moves from room to room freely and quickly, between the cellar, entrance 2, and the machinery. However, he can also move into your room from both sides, via entrance 2 and the machinery, as seen on your camera map layout. You won't be able to see him, as he'll either be behind you or around the corner, depending on where he comes from. From here, he can only walk back to the room he came from. Each time he moves to a new room, you should be able to hear him. It is important that you know his exact location at any time. Due to today's technical difficulties that we have prepared for you, the factory's power will shut down at random intervals, and everything will become pitch black. The enemy will stop moving. You will then get 10 seconds to flash the room the enemy is in, either in the corridor itself or through the camera system if he's in one of the other 3 rooms. Flash the room he's in, and he's spotted. The power will be back, he continues his game. Flash an empty room, and you lose power. Don't lose it all. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. Welcome to the entrance, the final stop before we let you escape for now. An entity is coming for you from down the dark hallway in front of you. Once he's there, you'll have to flash lights at him to push him back. If you flash the hallway when it's empty, it will drain power. However, as he moves quietly, there's no way for you to know when he has arrived. He does, however, move at a fairly consistent speed. Through trial and error, you should get a rough idea of how fast he moves. There is an upside to this. Through the camera system, you can charge up your main power at any time, so flashing an empty hallway does not punish you with irreversible consequences. In addition to this, you may find your camera pad slowly getting corrupted with dark veins. Someone is trying to escape from it. You will jump between all the cameras regularly. Find him, and stare him down to slowly reverse his camera corruption. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message.
Oh, great. Well, welcome to the Cellar. You are hiding in one of the rooms below our recreation of Wario's factory. The room where you hid the bodies. The room where you committed your sins. Did you ever think about why there was a cellar in the first place? Did you know about the rest of the underground tunnels in Wario's factory? Did you know about the secrets he kept down there? Maybe you will someday. It depends on how things are going. Anyway, there are two entities coming for you tonight. You currently have two perspectives available to you. One from your location, the cellar, and one from the office. You can only use the cameras from the office perspective, which will of course drain power. The first entity starts in the office exit and moves straight towards your room, the cellar. On the wall in front of you, you have an electroshock button. Follow the entity on the camera, and once you know he's right outside your room, give him an electric shock to send him back. If you try to shock the hallway around the corner when no one is there, the power will take a big hit. The other entity, however, is slowly invading, no matter where you are. Once he's ready, he'll appear right in front of you. The only way to prevent a painful experience is to use the office computer to absorb him into the screen, thus resetting his progress. The office computer, however, lacks power. In the cellar, you have to charge up a power battery. And once it's charged up, you can send it straight to the office. Pick it up and insert it into the computer, and it will do the rest of the job once the entity appears. Each time this entity is absorbed, the power battery will be fully depleted, so you will need to send a new one. Since the battery charges very slowly, you should use any opportunity you have to charge one up. If you don't get a battery to the office computer in time, the consequences will be dreadful. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message.
Welcome to Entrance 2. This room connects directly to the cellar and the corridor, where two entities are now coming from. The entity in the cellar is fast asleep and will slowly wake up and make his way to your room. Should he arrive, you will see him through the window to your right-hand side. Quickly shut the lights off to prevent him from seeing you, and he should return to the cellar. The entity from the corridor will most likely be more aggressive. Should he come into your room, flash the lights at him to push him back. Both of them require quick actions should they come into your room. But there's a twist. You cannot flash the room while the lights are off, and it will be too dark to see the entity coming from the corridor if the lights are off. In other words, it's difficult to handle both at the same time. Therefore, it is important to try and split up their arrivals. As long as the entity from the cellar hasn't left his room yet, you can put him back to sleep with the digital music box, which will require manual rewinding after each use. This should help you make sure they don't approach you at the same time. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message.